was driving home from the trials, and wasn't a phone call that I expected. It was totally left field, and yeah, it was pretty tough to hear, and it was sad. It was a bit of an eerie day, I suppose, it came in waves throughout the day, when people would be sending messages or ringing. So I had a lot of nice messages from people, but I spoke to the stud people, Barley Ward Thomas and Johnny Sunderland and Alistair Pulford, who'd looked after him, and Dean, who was one of his main handlers over the years. It was good to talk about, the past and the good times and what such a great horse he was. I'd go to Scone every year, for the Scone Cup Carnival, and pop round and see him. And one of the guys was there one day, and I hadn't seen him there before, and I bought some carrots. He said, he doesn't like carrots. He ate the whole bag. He loved his carrots. Just went out, used to go out in the paddock and see him in his day yard or day paddock, and he had such a personality.
You didn't ride him early on in his career. You didn't ride him till he was 4-year-old, but your name became synonymous with his, obviously. That first ride was in the Missile Stakes at Rosehill. What sort of feel did he give you?
Like no other horse that day. That was the first time that I rode him, and his acceleration was electrifying. And from day one, as I've said, right throughout my whole career, nearly 40 years of riding, I'd never ridden a horse that when I accelerated on him, that he lowered a hand in size. He really got down into the ground to gallop. It was very eerie, but he was a remarkable horse. Just great acceleration. 10 Group 1s, there's not too many horses that you get associated with of that nature, and they come along, once in a lifetime, in a jockey's career. I think his win against Sunline in the Yalumba Stakes and the Caulfield Stakes was probably nearly his best win. She was in fine form going into the race. She led the race, had it all her way, had to give a 3 or 4 lengths start top of the straight, and for him to be able to mow her down and gather her in the shadows of the post really typifies his tenacity and determination and will to win. He knew he was good. He just treated, some horses, like in the George Ryder when he beat, Grand Army and horses of that nature, he just treated them with contempt. Very, very, just a champion.
Racing in the Cup, and a good start with Zacello beginning quickly. Lonhro was away fast, and he's going forward early.
I ended up getting into a nice run in the race. I put him into the race early stages of the Australian Cup, and I was quite confident all the way through the run. He was giving me a great feel, but I was aware of where Del Zao was with Stephen King on, and I had and still do, the much utmost respect for Stephen King as a rider, a very competitive rider, and Lonhro was the type of horse he didn't like too much argy-bargy, and I thought if I did come out on the home corner, Del Zao would come up around me and it'd be a bit of a dogfight, and the run eventuated for me, but I just didn't accelerate quick enough into the run, and the gap closed, and it was at such a vital stage of the race when Del Zao sort of pinched a march on me and come down the outside, and I just had to gather my thoughts, gather momentum, gather the Lonhro back up, and put him back into gear, and the rest is history.
Lonhro, he's coming, he's going to get there. Yes, Lonhro won it. What a champion! What a way to go!
The way that he was able to, launch over the last furlong towards Del Zao, who looked like he'd won a winning break on him, and that race really very similar to the Sunline race, just the tenacity of the horse and determination and wanting to be a winner.
You rode him on that long rein, and it was so obvious in that race. You would have had the whip in your hand, but you didn't use it on him in that race. Why not?
Yeah, well, when all that happened, it was just a matter of balancing him up and keeping his rhythm, keeping his confidence, not trying to rush things, even though I only probably had about 11 or 12 seconds to get the job done. But it was just a matter of getting him into the open space, and once he was able to launch, for me he was giving me 110%, so we just rolled with that, and yeah, we were able to get there in the nick of time.
Other great racehorses that you've ridden, Saintly, Octagonal, Superimpose among them. Where does he rate amongst all of those?
I've always said he's the best. He's on any given day over a mile. He was like, there wouldn't have been a horse in the country that could beat him. He was able to produce it on the racetrack and in the breeding barn, and full credit to Mr. Jack and Bob Ingham, for racing him on to let the racing public see what type of horse he was, and he got better as he got older, and his progeny are a little bit that way inclined as well. They seem to race on better as they get older, but a very kind horse, and he really stamps his progeny in that way.
One final question. Are you surprised or not at all at the public reaction to the horse's death?
No, not at all. No, because that's if you're down the street or out and about. One horse that always comes up when people come to have a chat is about Lonhro, and so many people have got so many stories that how he influenced their life in one way or another, and it's a testimony to what he was able to give on the racetrack and in the stallion barn.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.